Because at this time I would typically be at work for already like an hour and a half, moving, and so far I have not. My partner was up all night, he couldn't sleep, so I have been in the house trying to be quiet, so I didn't want to pace around in there, wake him up. I did for a few minutes, but it was just, oops, dropping stuff. It was just too noisy. I am so cold. um, it's not really that cold, but it's been so muggy at 80 to 90% humidity, and 80 to 90 degrees, that it felt like a rainforest here, and that's not typical for us. Like, a lot of places are experiencing extremely atypical temperature. Fuck it, I'll just carry on. Problems and stuff that we have been too. So it's just a drop of 20 degrees all at once, plus no humidity, feels much colder. It will take a little bit for my body to adjust to the dramatic change in temperature, especially because I have temperature dysregulation problems anyway, and most people with chronic illness know that that's common. Heat intolerance, cold intolerance, both of them. So you got to be every human body has to be at just the right temperature, or you have problems. You have fevers and stuff, or hypothermia. However, sick human bodies need to be even more that perfect temperate environment, or it will aggravate their symptoms, or potentially be its own symptom of temperature dysregulation. And you can freeze when it's 90 and be boiling hot with a fever when it's like below zero. It's ridiculous. So sudden changes in temperature really throw me for a whirl. And I figured I had just been sitting. I have been sitting a whole lot more lately than in the past. I don't know how much of it is ambition is completely drained with all this stuff that I've been doing for surgeries and procedures and exams and all the doctors and stuff to just get ready for the hysterectomy, that I'm burnt out, medical burnout, or that I'm getting worse, because night before last I came home and I slept for 14 hours straight. It happens sometimes, but not often that I get out of work. I get up, I'm sick, go to work, come home from work, and go directly to bed and sleep until I gotta get up for work the next day. And I've been finding things more challenging. My job in specifics is a good measure because it's the same kind of thing, and I've been there a few months now, so I'm familiar with the routines and the easy days and the light days, and how it works and what to expect out of my body. But it never continues to surprise me how some days when I'm sitting still, my cells are not being utilized for energy burning. I start to feel more and more okay. And so sometimes when I go into work, I feel like I'm okay, like I can do it. And then like the next day after sleeping for 14 hours, I was blindsided by the fact I physically couldn't do it. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There was no shortcuts that could be done. I couldn't do it. So I changed the trash bags. That was about it. And then waited to burn up the clock. Because I can't take the day off. I can't go home. They'd been better served sending me home. And I hope that never happens again. So I'm trying to make myself walk. Like I said, I would be doing it in the house because it's cold. Too cold for me right now. But my partner is asleep because he didn't get any sleep until 10 o'clock this morning. So I'm not about to wake him up. So I'm bundled and I am pacing the field. I will be very sad when the field is no longer an option. It's going to be that much harder to get myself to make some steps when just like a few feet inside the house, just walking back and forth a few feet from room to room is going to be the only walking I can get in. So I need to get myself in better shape without causing post-exertional malaise. I need to get myself reconditioned from a period of inactivity, more inactivity than is typical for me, as best as I can before I go into surgery, because then I will be on my back for a few days. Whoopee, landed on my thumb. In the hospital, and I will be, after that, 6 weeks recovery. Can't lift much, can't walk much, and that's if they do the basics. And that's not if we have to fight cancer. So let's hope I can force myself to stay more active than I have been the last couple weeks, regardless whether it's burnt out or post-exertional malaise, and hopefully have it not just make things worse. I'm hoping it makes things better, that I get back to sustaining a certain amount of capacity in my energy envelope, as they call it, which is the amount of energy you have in your broken cellular battery, that I have more sustained energy to use before I am bedridden and couch-ridden for a few weeks. It's going to take a major hit on my body, and my body's already feeling pretty bad lately. So we're doing it. We're walking in the woods. I'm now on my third lap. I don't know how many laps to do because it's been a few days since I took more than like one aside from work. So I don't know how many laps I should do safely. When I was doing this every day, I would do 3 one way, 3 the other, and if I was feeling good, I would do 4 one way and 4 the other way. So 8 laps, 6 and 8 laps. Right now I'm about to finish my 3rd lap, and like I said, I don't know whether to push it or not because I don't know what's going on with my body right now. I don't know if I'm just burnt out in general, and that's why I've been so sluggish, or I'm having post-exertional malaise, and I'm getting worse and making myself worse by pushing it. So I don't want to push it too far, but I don't want to undersell myself either, because I have a short amount of time to get as well as possible before I have my hysterectomy and anything that comes with and after that. So we're just going to keep going, I guess, until I feel like I shouldn't, intuitively. But that's the thing about pacing and mecfs, post-viral syndrome, is that, like I said, when I go to work, there are days that I feel like I could do it, and then when I start to do it, I realize I have no stamina. My muscles are extremely weak. I can barely walk. I have no energy. And then there are days that I feel, while I'm sitting, rather ill. The malaise, that flu-like feeling that never goes away. Like I can't. There's no way I'm going to be able to pull off my job today. You know, when I get there and I start doing it, it's okay. It's doable. It's manageable. It's never easy, but it's manageable. And it surprises me. So I can't judge based on how I feel. And like that day that I slept for 15 hours, I had 3 strangers come up to me and tell me they were concerned about me, or they were concerned about me because I looked so tired, or if everything was all right because I looked so tired. Cameron even told me that I looked really tired, and I'm tired all the time. So he never says that he doesn't, he rarely ever does he point out that he notices my symptoms, which in a way frustrates me because he's with me so much of the time. He says he can clearly tell the difference in the things that we do and do not do anymore. And I'm not the same person. I'm the same person inside, but not the same person. And he knows that's not a choice. But he doesn't often like see the symptoms. And he had even said I look tired. And I'm like, I don't understand. I'm looking at myself in the reflection in the rearview mirror trying to figure this out because I felt no different. No more fatigued. No more malaised. No more ill or run down than I did on any other day. And I had an easier time doing my work that day than I did on Friday when I felt better. And I come home and immediately lay down and fall asleep for 14, 16 hours until I have to get up and go to work again. And then that next day I couldn't even do it at all. So that took me by surprise. I had no idea, but it was so obvious to other people that I was exhausted. And I didn't realize that it was obvious in any kind of way. I don't know how it was obvious, but it was obvious to everybody. But not to me. And that's the problem. I'm the one that's expected to pace myself, to gauge how much is in my energy envelope every day by how I feel, and not to exceed that limit. But I don't know what the hell the limit is. Because some days I feel like I can, and it turns out that I fucking can't. And then some days I feel like I can't, but I do, and I can. And then sometimes I think I can, I do, turns out to be too much, and I'm flatlined on the couch. So that might very well be what happens today. Hopefully I'm not having post-exertional malaise. I'm not making myself more sick with mecfs than I was already. I'm pretty bad enough. I'm like, I would think, right on the borderline of mild, moderate. In order to be diagnosed with mild, you have to be at 50% loss of your former functional capacity across all areas of your life. You can't be like okay at work or okay in your socialization and socializing and having fun, or okay in your hobbies, or okay on the weekend or a holiday. You're fucked. Like every day, all night, all day, all night, forever. You by half. Someone just robbed you of half of your capacity, your former capacity to function. And that's to be diagnosed mild. Moderate typically have had to give up their work or school and are pretty much mostly sedentary. They largely move with assisted aids if they are moving. They need lots of rest and require some assistance, and can't take care of all of their basic adulting on their own anymore. I am somewhere around there. I only work 3 hours, 5 days a week. That's 15 hours. And I'm hanging on to my job by the skin of my teeth, and I'm barely pulling it off some days, even though I'm showing up, intending to do my best. My best is barely worth paying me for sometimes. I'm doing everything I can to keep working, and I don't know how long it'll last. If I wasn't staying with my boyfriend, you should have saw the squalor I didn't allow but couldn't help over a given enough time. I've been sick for 3 years now. Steady decline to accumulate in my apartment. We had an inspection, and the landlord was like, dude, clean your shit up. Quite, nicely. And so we've been picking away between all the appointments and stuff, going over there and cleaning my place. If I wasn't staying with him You know, he's caring for his own household, and I pick up behind myself like a guest, not like we're living together. He's taken on the brunt of most of those activities. I pay my bills, I do my medical admin, I go to work. He does all the cooking, the house cleaning, the transportation, all that kind of stuff. That's all him. And I honestly, I don't think I could be holding on to what I'm holding on to without his help. And I don't even know if I can keep holding on to my job. And I'm definitely 50% of where I used to be, potentially even less. I'm mostly sedentary now. Other than my job or situations like this where I force myself because of my fear of death to do it, not knowing if I'm making the right choice or the wrong choice by doing it. It being activity of any kind, because it all has an allotment, a cost out of that energy envelope account. Emotional activity, cognitive activity, physical activity. I know my body's not getting enough physical activity, but that's part of the disease course. Is you lose the capacity. Your body reacts negatively to vigorous activity, especially vigorous activity. That's why you don't see me doing much besides walking. But it reacts negatively to exercise. And over time, it's a cycle of the symptoms of the illness itself, and then a fear of the symptoms of post-exertional malaise, which are god-awful and can last for days, weeks, months, potentially knock you into a more severe category of the illness permanently by doing damage to your cells, and make you a more severe mecfs case. So they know that much. They don't know how to fix it, but they know that if you push yourself too much physically, you could make yourself permanently bedridden vegetable. That's the life of people with severe mecfs. They are practically in a vegetative state. They can't lift their head to wash their hair or brush their teeth. It's a really awful life. And that's why they did the Millions March recently, and they do that every year to try to get funding for this illness. But we'll see. At least if I screw myself here, instead of improving myself, I have Sunday. And my partner's asleep, so I'm not missing anything important with him. But it does feel nice to move. It feels liberating. It feels freeing to move. But I do feel, I'm starting to feel the burnout. So I think I'm going to push one more lap here, and I'm looking at the timer. You guys are keeping me going. That it's been about 16 minutes, 18 minutes. If I can go for 20 minutes or so, that's a decent little walk, especially for somebody who's been pretty much sedentary, other than that 3-hour job, for like 3 or 4 weeks. Probably since my surgery, I've been pretty damn sedentary. So, gotta make myself do it. And I gotta make myself keep doing it till my next surgery. Unless I find that it makes me sicker, because it's the last possible thing that I want, is to have a worse version of mecfs, because mild mecfs is so debilitating, life-shrinking, small, painful, uncomfortable. It sucks that I can't imagine being more ill with this particular disease than I am. And you can make yourself that way, not just temporarily like a flare of your autoimmune condition, but permanently because you're damaging your mitochondria, and they're already damaged, and that injury can be precipitous to permanent dysfunction, and you are forever even sicker until they get a cure. So we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. We might be doing that now, but I don't know. I can't tell. I can't tell. That's what sucks. You're supposed to manage your energy, and you can't even tell what your fucking energy is. It's ridiculous. Pacing is no cure. Pacing is no lifestyle. Beautiful out here, though. That's pleasant. And I know I look a little wacky, but orange is my favorite color. And I was looking to find something warm to wear over here because I have a bunch of summer clothes over here because it was summer when I got here. And that's what I found. So that is why I am super orange. Super orange. Beautiful yard. This is a clearing in the back. That's all the woods that go towards the house. Sorry, I've been staring at my face the whole time. My hand's getting tired. I should switch hands. This is definitely going to be my last lap. I'm feeling this. Hopefully, I will go in. I'll sit down for a while. Upright, not laid down, so I'm not inclined to fall asleep from doing this. I'll sit up, and I will recuperate, and I will feel better for having done it, hopefully. And if that's the case, then I can try to institute a 20-minute walk every morning until I can manage that without an exacerbation of my symptoms. And if I do have a crash, well, then we know 20 minutes is too high, not where we start. And hopefully I'm not incurring permanent damage. Yeah. So that's that. We're nearing the end. See, that's the path. Around this big curve here. It's beautiful in the summer and the spring. Now everything is starting to wither because it's fall. Right out here. Whew. And here is the exit. Around these trees. And you're free. And you're free of me. By the time I get back into the I'll poke my eye out. Good thing for sunglasses. Back to the house, it'll be about a 25-minute walk. So we'll just see how I feel today and tomorrow, because post-exertional malaise, in case you didn't know, can set in 48 hours after the overexertion activity. That's why sometimes it can be hard to backtrack what you did. But this will be the aberrant activity, because I have been, like I said, largely sedentary since surgery. And I go to my job. And so that's familiar level of activity. I don't know what would have given me the post-exertional malaise I might be currently experiencing, but we can't always figure that out. But this 25-minute walk will be the aberrant activity, and we'll find out if it makes me sick tonight, tomorrow, or the next day. And if it doesn't, we'll keep at it and build myself back up as much as I can before I have to be bedridden again for the hysterectomy and lose it all again. Yeah. A sedentary lifestyle and deconditioning is not the cause of mecfs. It is the result. Peace, love, joy, and happiness. Bye, everybody. Have a good day.